Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel. It is such a joy to be here with you today. And it is wonderful to be here with you, James.
Hello, Elizabeth, and hello to all our listeners. It really is a beautiful day, isn't it? I am very excited about our topic today. It is something very close to my heart and definitely close to my stomach.
I think I know what you mean. Today, we are going to talk about cooking. We will talk about food, recipes, and the feelings we have when we are in the kitchen.
That sounds perfect. Cooking is such a romantic thing to do, don't you think? When you cook for someone, it shows you care. It is a language of love.
It really is. So let's start with the basics for our listeners. We need to talk about what we do before we even turn on the stove. James, what is the first thing you do when you want to cook something special?
Well, first, I think about the person I am cooking for. I think about what they like. For example, if I'm cooking for you, Elizabeth, I know you love Italian food.
You know me so well. I do love Italian food. So once you decide on the meal, what is the next step?
The next step is preparation. We often call this prep work. You need to gather your ingredients. Ingredients are the food items you need, like vegetables, meat, spices, and oil.
Exactly. Ingredients. Let's practice that word. Ingredients. So you have your ingredients on the counter. Now, we usually need to wash the vegetables.
Yes, always wash your vegetables. After washing, we usually have to chop them. To chop means to cut food into small pieces. You use a knife and a cutting board.
Do you like chopping vegetables, James? Some people find it boring, but I find it very relaxing.
I love it. The sound of the knife on the wooden board. Chop, chop, chop. It is very rhythmic. It calms me down after a long day. Tell me, Elizabeth, what are some other ways we cut food?
Well, if we want very small pieces, we say mince. For example, we usually mince garlic. We make it very, very small. Or we can slice. To slice means to cut something into thin, flat pieces, like slicing a tomato for a sandwich.
That is a great explanation. Mincing garlic and slicing tomatoes. Oh, I can almost smell the garlic now. You know, the smell of garlic and onions cooking in a pan is the best smell in the world.
It is a delicious smell. That brings us to the cooking methods. When we put the onions in the pan with hot oil, what do we call that action?
We call that sauté. To sauté means to cook food quickly in a small amount of hot fat, like oil or butter. We sauté onions, we sauté mushrooms.
Sauté. It's a French word, but we use it all the time in English. Sauté. So, James, imagine you are making a romantic dinner for us. You have sautéed the onions and garlic. What happens next?
Well, if I'm making a pasta sauce, next I would add the tomatoes, and then I would let it simmer. Pause, simmer. That is a very important word.
Can you explain what simmer means? How is it different from boiling?
Of course, boiling is when the water is very hot and there are many big bubbles moving fast. But simmering is gentler. The bubbles are very small and the heat is low. You simmer a sauce to let the flavors mix together slowly.
I love that. Slow cooking is the best cooking. It takes patience, just like a relationship, right? You cannot rush a good sauce.
You are absolutely right. You cannot rush it. You have to taste it and adjust it. That reminds me. Do you remember the time I tried to bake a cake for your birthday?
Oh my goodness, I do remember. You tried to bake, but you forgot a very important ingredient.
I forgot the sugar. I made a chocolate cake with no sugar. It tasted very bitter.
It was the thought that counts. But that is a good lesson for our listeners. Baking is different from cooking. When you cook a stew or pasta, you can change things. But when you bake, you must follow the recipe exactly.
Yes, a recipe is the set of instructions. It tells you exactly how much of each ingredient to use. For baking, you need to measure. We use
Let's talk
cups
about those
and
measurements.
spoons to
In
measure.
English recipes, you will often see TSP and TBSP. What do those mean, James?
TSP stands for teaspoon. It is the small spoon. TBSP stands for tablespoon. It is the big spoon. You must be careful not to mix them up. If you put a tablespoon of salt instead of a teaspoon, your food will be too salty to eat.
That would be a disaster. Nobody likes food that is too salty or too spicy. Do you like spicy food, James?
I love spicy food. I like adding chili peppers. Spicy means it has a strong, hot flavor that you feel on your tongue. What about you, Elizabeth? Do you like it hot?
I like a little bit of spice, but not too much. I prefer savory flavors. Savory means it is salty or spicy, not sweet, like cheese or roasted chicken. Those are savory foods.
You are making me hungry. Let's go back to our imaginary date night dinner. The sauce is simmering on the stove. The smell is filling the kitchen. Now, we need to make the pasta.
Right. To make pasta, we need a big pot. We fill the pot with water and we bring it to a boil. Remember, boil means big bubbles.
And don't forget to salt the water. Chefs always say the pasta water should taste like the ocean. Once it boils, we drop the pasta in.
How do we know when the pasta is ready? This is a tricky part for many people learning to cook.
We are looking for al dente. That is Italian for to the tooth. It means the pasta is cooked, but it is still a little bit firm when you bite it. It should not be mushy.
Mushy. That is a funny word. Mushy means too soft, like baby food. We do not want mushy pasta. We want it firm.
Exactly. So we drain the pasta. To drain means to pour the water out. We use a tool called a colander. It is a bowl with holes in it.
I can see it. We drain the water, then we mix the pasta with that beautiful simmering sauce. James, that sounds like a perfect meal.
It is only perfect if I share it with you, but cooking isn't just about the dinner. It is also about breakfast. I think breakfast is the most romantic meal of the day.
Really? Why do you think breakfast is romantic?
Because it is a quiet time. The world is just waking up. Imagine waking up to the smell of fresh coffee and toast.
That does sound lovely. Let's talk about some breakfast cooking words. How do you like your eggs?
There are so many ways. You can fry them, fried eggs, or you can scramble them, scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs are when you mix the yellow and white parts together and cook them in a pan while stirring. They are soft and fluffy.
And fried eggs can be sunny side up. That means the yellow part, the yolk, is still liquid. It looks like a sun.
Sunny side up. That is such a happy phrase. I also like poached eggs. Poached means cooked gently in water without the shell. It is very healthy.
Very healthy. And we cannot forget toast. You put bread in the toaster, it comes out warm and crispy. Crispy means it makes a noise when you bite it. Crunch.
Unless you burn it. If you leave it in too long, it becomes burnt. Burnt food is black and tastes bad.
I have burnt a lot of toast in my life. But that's how we learn. Cooking is about experimenting. It's okay to make mistakes.
I agree. To our listeners, do not be afraid to try new recipes. Even if you make a mistake, you're practicing your English and your cooking skills.
James, let's talk about kitchen equipment for a moment. We mentioned a knife, a cutting board, a pot, and a pan. What else is essential?
I think an oven is essential. The oven is the big machine where you bake cakes or roast a chicken. You put the food inside and close the door.
Yes, and the top part, with the fire or electric rings, we call that the stove or the hob. So you cook on the stove and you bake in the oven.
And you need a spatula. A spatula is a tool with a flat end. You use it to flip things, like flipping a pancake.
Oh, pancakes! I love flipping pancakes. It takes skill. You have to be brave. 1, 2, 3, flip.
And hope it doesn't land on the floor. James, what is your favorite thing to use in the kitchen? Is there a gadget you love?
I really like the blender. The blender is the machine that mixes things very fast to make them liquid. I use it to make smoothies in the morning.
Smoothies are great. You put in fruit, maybe some yogurt, and blend it. Blend. That is a good verb. It means to mix things together until they become one thing.
We blend well together, don't we, Elizabeth?
We certainly do. Now, let's talk about describing food. When we eat, we want to tell people how it tastes. We already said salty, spicy, and sweet. What are some others?
Well, there is sour. Lemons are sour.
Like coffee
They make
without
your
sugar
mouth
or
pucker.
dark chocolate. Some people love bitter flavors.
And we can talk about texture. Texture is how the food feels in your mouth. Is it creamy, like soup with milk in it?
Is it crunchy, like a fresh apple or a carrot? Or is it chewy, like a piece of steak that is cooked too long?
No one likes chewy steak. We want the steak to be tender. Tender means soft and easy to cut.
So we have creamy, crunchy, chewy, and tender. These are excellent adjectives for our listeners to use next time they go to a restaurant.
Speaking of restaurants, let's do a little role play for our listeners. Let's pretend we are deciding what to cook for dinner tonight. I will be me and you be you.
Okay, I am ready. You start.
Acting. Honey, I'm going to the grocery store. What should we have for dinner tonight? I feel like cooking something special.
Well, it is cold outside. I feel like eating something warm and comforting. Maybe a soup or a stew?
A stew sounds delicious. A beef stew with lots of vegetables, carrots, potatoes, and onions.
That sounds perfect. Can you also buy some fresh bread? I want to dip the bread into the stew.
Of course. Fresh, crusty bread. Do we need any spices? Do we have enough black pepper?
Let me check the pantry. The pantry is the cupboard where we keep dry food. No, we are out of pepper. Please buy some black pepper and maybe a bottle of red wine?
Red wine goes perfectly with beef stew. I will pick up a bottle. Anything else, my dear?
Just something sweet for dessert. Maybe some chocolate?
Done. I will be back in an hour. And acting. How was that?
That was great. It shows how we use these words in real life. We mentioned the grocery store, the pantry, and pairing wine with food.
We also mentioned comfort food. That is a nice phrase. Comfort food is food that makes you feel happy and safe. Usually, it is food that your mother used to make.
Yes, for me, macaroni and cheese. It's simple, warm, and cheesy. What is your comfort food, James?
Mashed potatoes. Potatoes that are boiled and then crushed with butter and milk until they are smooth. I could eat a whole bowl of mashed potatoes.
That is a lot of carbohydrates, but it does sound delicious. You know, cooking is also a great way to learn about other cultures.
Absolutely. Every country has its own style of cooking. In India, they use a lot of spices like turmeric and cumin. In Japan, they eat a lot of fresh fish and rice.
Curious, have you ever tried to cook sushi?
I have tried. It is very difficult to roll the rice perfectly. You need a bamboo mat, and the rice is sticky. Sticky means it attaches to your fingers. It was a mess, but we laughed a lot.
That is the most important part, having fun. Even if the sushi looks funny, if it tastes good and you've had fun making it, it's a success.
Speaking of cleaning up, Elizabeth, I want to ask you about cleaning up. Cooking is fun, but cleaning the kitchen afterwards is not fun.
That is the truth, but it has to be done. We have to wash the dishes. We scrub the pots. Scrub means to rub hard, to clean.
We can use a dishwasher if we have one, but some things like good knives must be washed by hand. You should never put a sharp knife in the dishwasher. It makes it dull.
Dull means not sharp. A dull knife is actually dangerous because you have to push harder to cut. Always keep your knives sharp.
How about this for a rule? If I cook, you clean, and if you cook, I clean.
That sounds like a fair deal, a partnership. We have covered so many words today. Let's review some of the actions we talked about.
We talked about chopping, slicing, mincing, boiling, simmering, sautéing, and baking.
And we talked about equipment: knife, cutting board, tot, pan, oven, stove, and blender.
I hope our listeners are writing these down or just listening and imagining the kitchen.
The best way to learn these words is to use them. Go into your kitchen, pick up a spoon and say, "This is a spoon." Turn on the water and say, "I am washing vegetables."
Talk to yourself while you cook. Describe what you were doing. I'm cracking an egg. I'm stirring the soup. It might feel silly, but it
Sometimes
really
I
helps.
even pretend I'm on a cooking show. Welcome to Elizabeth's kitchen. Today we are making toast.
I would watch that show. I would be your biggest fan.
Focusing. James, before we finish, let's talk about one more thing. Leftovers.
Leftovers. That is the food that remains after you finish eating. If you cooked too much, you put the rest in the fridge for tomorrow.
Leftovers can be a lifesaver. You can heat them up for lunch the next day. To heat up means to make hot again. We often use a microwave for that.
Some food tastes better the next day, like lasagna or stew. The flavors have more time to mix.
I agree. Lasagna is definitely better the next day. Pause. James, cooking is very sensory. We talked about smell and taste and sight, but what about sound?
The sound of cooking. The sizzle of bacon in a pan. Sizzle. S-I-Z-Z-L-E. That is the sound of hot fat frying something.
The whistle of a tea kettle, the crunch of fresh bread, the clink of glasses when we say cheers.
The sound of your voice asking me to pass the salt. That is my favorite kitchen sound.
Oh, James, you are very charming today. We are getting close to the end of our video. Is there any final advice you want to give our listeners about cooking and English?
I would say invite friends over. Cooking is social. Invite an English-speaking friend for dinner. Cook together. Talk about the food. Ask them, how do you make this in your country?
That is a wonderful idea. Food brings people together. It connects us. It doesn't matter where you are from. Everyone needs to eat.
And if you are cooking for someone you love, put your heart into it. They will taste the love.
That is a beautiful sentiment. Thank you for this lovely conversation, James. I am suddenly very hungry.
Me too. I think it's time for us to go to the kitchen.
Thank you to everyone for listening. We hope you learned some useful vocabulary today. Don't be afraid to get messy in the kitchen.
Keep practicing, keep cooking, and keep listening. We'll see you in the next video.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye. Take care.
Oh, wait, James, did you turn off the oven?
Oh no, I think I left the cookies in there. Run!
Just kidding. You're safe. Bye, everyone.
Oh, you got me. Bye.